Hey there everybody, this is Mr. Dickin. In this video we're going to be discussing how to solve quadratics by using our factoring patterns. So the whole concept of factoring is we wanted to be able to use it as a way to solve quadratic equations, and eventually when we get into graphing these things, when they make parabolas, we want to be able to find their x-intercepts. So we're going to see how that works here. Now this all hinges on the knowledge of what's called the zero product property. So if I had two variables, I'll just call them A and B, and if I was multiplying A times B, and the product of that is 0, I know that either A is 0 or B is 0. So one of those two things has to equal 0. So one of these two, or maybe both, has to be true. Because if A was 0, if my first multiplied factor here was 0, then 0 times anything would equal out to 0, right? If B was 0, and A could be literally anything, anything times 0 is, again, 0. So when we factor this, we're going to actually see, instead of A's and B's, we're going to see two different factor pairs. So x plus or minus something times another x plus or minus something. And what we'll be able to claim is that one of these two factors must be equal to 0 in order for the overall equation to equal 0. So let's get going. Now with this, since we're using the zero product property, it will be of paramount importance that we want these set equal to 0. If your equation is not set equal to 0, you're going to have some preliminary work to do right out the gate. Fortunately, this one's equal to 0 already. We don't need to do anything. Yay! All right, so let's factor. X squared plus x minus 20 equals 0. So I want to factor out this x squared plus x minus 20. It starts off with a plain old x squared, no coefficients on that, so I don't need to worry about coefficients on my x's here. So just plain old x, plain old x. And now I'm looking for two numbers that would multiply to be 20, yet add up to a positive 1. Now this is a negative 20, so I'm going to have one positive and one negative value. So if I go through and think, all right, we've got 1 times 20, that wouldn't work. There's no way to add or subtract 1 and 20 to get a 1 in the middle. So 1 and 20 doesn't work. Maybe 2 and 10, no. 4 and 5. 4 and 5 seems to be the winning combo. So 4 times 5 is 20, but if I want it to be a negative 20, one of these has to be negative. And I want the sum to be a positive 1. Well, if I did a negative 4 plus 5, that would work out. All right, so we factored it. Hard part is done. Now we get to use the zero product property. And the zero product property says that one of these two factors is equal to 0. So either x minus 4 is equal to 0, or x plus 5 is equal to 0, or maybe both of them are. But we're going to have two separate answers here. The answer to the first equation, x minus 4 is 0. Well, if I just add 4 to the other side, so if I add 4 to solve for x, one answer would be x equals 4. So if I plugged in 4 for x at any one of these steps here, I would get 0 as an answer. Or I could go down to this second equation that we've created from the factor. If I subtracted 5 to the other side, I would get negative 5. So x equals negative 5. Either one of these two numbers, when plugged into the original equation, would give me 0. If I plugged in 4, 4 squared is 16, plus 4 is 20, 20 minus 20 is 0. Negative 5 squared is positive 25, plus a negative 5, so that's minus 5. 25 minus 5 is 20, minus 20, boom, 0. All right, let's see a slightly more challenging one. Not terribly, but a little bit. X squared plus 5 equals 6x. Well, first and foremost, this is not equal to 0. We want these equal to 0. So that means I need to send this 6x to the other side. You'll notice I'm putting it right here between the x squared and the positive 5. We like to have these written in what's called standard form. So it goes x squared, then your plain old x, your linear term, then your constant, the plain old number. So now it's equal to 0. Let's factor this thing out. On the left side, I see that it starts off with an x squared. So I'll start each of these off with an x. And then I need two numbers that multiply to be 5. Well, hey, fortunately, 5 is prime. And if it's prime, that means there's no factors other than 1 and itself. So I know it's got to be 1 and 5, or 5 and 1. You can switch those around, doesn't matter. So 1 times 5 is in fact 5, but I need these to sum up to a negative 6. Well, remember, if this sign here is a plus or a positive, then these two signs in the factors would have to be the same, either both negative or both positive. And the fact that this is a negative leads me to believe that these would have to both be negative values. So a negative 1 and a negative 5 sums up to be a negative 6. So the factoring's done. The factoring's the hard part. So x minus 1 equals 0, or x minus 5 equals 0. So those are the two equations that I'm solving. My answers would be x equals 1 and x equals 5. Typically speaking, if you see x squared in your equation, you can expect two answers. If this was x to the third, you could expect up to 3 answers. If the highest exponent you see is x to the 17th, which we won't see in this class, you can expect up to 17 answers. So something to keep in mind. If you get one answer, kind of double check your work. If you get 3 answers, you've certainly goofed somewhere. All right, next one. 2x squared plus x equals 6. Again, it's not equal to 0. We want it equal to 0. So we'll just subtract the 6 over to the left-hand side. This one's going to be slightly more challenging because we have a coefficient on the x squared. Fortunately, though, 2 is prime, so I don't have to deal with as many possible combinations. I just need to have a 2x and a plain old x. Now, in the second position on these, we need factors of 6. Well, negative 6, so one will be positive, one will be negative. It's either going to be 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. I can use what we've discussed in previous videos, the knowledge that I have about GCFs. If there is no GCF in this original equation, that means there will never be a GCF in any factored form of it. So since there's a 2 here, any even number would be off limits here because an even number would generate a GCF. So let's try the 1 and 6 combination. 6 is not allowed to go with the 2, so the 1 would have to go there, the 2 would go there. If I distributed this out, 2x times 6 would be a 12, 1 times x, so a 12x and a 1x, there's no way to get a 1x in the middle out of that. So it's not going to be 1 and 6, which means it's going to have to be 2 and 3. So the 3 has to go with the 2 right here. I couldn't put the 2 over there because I'd get a GCF. Let's see, if I distributed this thing out, 2x times 2 is a 4x, 3x, a 4x, and a 3x, and I need them to be a 1x. Well, if the 4x was positive and the 3x was negative, remember we knew one would have to be positive and negative because it was negative 6. We should be good. So now we've got our 2 factors, which means we can solve each individual factor as its own separate equation. Well, the second equation is going to be pretty straightforward, just x equals negative 2. The first one might take a little bit of work, right? So we'd have to add 3 to the other side. So 2x equals 3, then we divide by 2. So x equals 3 halves. If you're a fan of shortcuts, I'm a huge fan of shortcuts. If you have a linear factor like this, or it's something x plus or minus something, and you want to jump straight to the answer, take the opposite of the second number divided by the first. So the opposite of a negative 3 is a positive 3 divided by the first number, which was 2. All right, last and final one. 4x squared minus 9. Ding, 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 ding. We've got a special factor pattern. All right. So I'm noticing, hey, perfect square to start, perfect square to end. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, can I use a special factor pattern here? Well, there's only 2 terms, and they're separated by a minus sign. So I get to use the old conjugate pairs pattern. So the square root of 4x squared would be 2x. Why am I writing with a highlighter right now? So 2x will go to at the start of each one of these. The square root of 9 is a 3, so 3 would be in the second position here. And all of that is equal to 0. So we factored it out. Factoring is the hard part. Now we've got two small equations to solve. 2x plus 3 equals 0. 2x minus 3 equals 0. With both of these, to solve, I'm just going to move the 3 to the other side and divide by 2. Move the 3 to the other side, divide by 2. Or we could use that shortcut, the opposite of the second number, divide by the first. Either way works. We're going to get x equals negative 3/2. X equals positive 3/2. Shazam. All right, that's it for this video. You know the drill. If you have any questions, please let us know. And as always, folks, good luck, have fun, be safe, roll tide.